P1 and P2 explain the principles of effective communication and the barriers to effective communication. Principles to effective interpersonal communication. Questioning skills and techniques. Questioning skills and techniques are important for effective communication as they show interest in the subject and tell the person who is speaking that you are listening. It can also help to keep the conversation going in a certain direction towards a subject and can also help the listener gain some new knowledge or further their understanding on the subject. Principles to effective interpersonal communication. No interruptions. Without interruptions, it is much easier to listen to someone who is speaking. Distractions such as noise or a video can make the listener focus on the source of the distraction more than the speaker, leading to gaps in information or knowledge, making certain jobs impossible to do successfully, as the user has little understanding on the job that needs to be done. Principles to effective written communication. Knowledge of subject. If the listener has knowledge of the subject that is being discussed before the conversation starts, then it can make it much easier to understand what the speaker is talking about. The speaker may use jargon to explain certain parts of a project that, without previous knowledge, the listener would not understand, and without questioning would not know what the specialist terms would mean. Principles to effective written communication. Good grammar and spelling. Good grammar and spelling is very important in writing as it makes a document look professional and easy to read, as well as making it easy to interpret so it is not misread and then the receiver will not do the job wrong. Good spelling and grammar is also important for formal emails or to make a point. If there is a bad spelling in an email, it makes it less formal and the point less clear. Barriers to effective interpersonal communication. Disabilities. Disabilities such as impaired hearing or deafness can extremely affect interpersonal communication, as without special training it can be very difficult to communicate effectively with the person. This also applies for mental disabilities. To overcome this, companies should give special training to employees who need to communicate with people who have disabilities. Barriers to effective interpersonal communication. Cultural differences. Cultural differences, such as social behavior differences, can be a large barrier to effective communication. Social behavior differences, like how to behave in a meeting, can make it very difficult to communicate with people of different cultures, as you may offend them on accident. To overcome these cultural differences, employees should be informed on how to act around the culturally different. To overcome these cultural differences, employees should be informed on how to act around culturally different people. Barriers to effective written communication. Misinterpretations. Misinterpretations can offend certain employees, making tension in the workplace or confuse the other employees, which can make them complete jobs incorrectly. To overcome this, employees should always proofread their emails before sending them, and work to make sure that there are no spelling mistakes and the context is given correctly. Barriers to effective written communication. Structure. Structure in written communication is very important as it can add formality to a document or email. If the incorrect structure is used in an email, it can make it very difficult for the receiver to read. To overcome this, employees should be trained on how to successfully structure their work for certain situations. This has been my video explaining some principles and barriers to effective communication and how to overcome them.